Yeah, that kind of leads me nicely into what I think I'm going to list as a kind of a wrap up question. Change isn't painful, but fighting it is. And I think there's a whole lot of people that society has changed, the world has changed, and it's not been with everyone's consent. It's not been at everyone's particular rate of change. Change has happened too fast in the minds of a lot of people. That just tends to be the way society is. Things are just changing really, really fast, and we're not even talking about technology per se. Um, as a Missouri guy, a corn-fed Missouri guy, um, I'm watching American and the elections that are currently going on, and the big move of "Make America Great Again," which largely aligns with returning to things back when they were in the 1960s, and that was pretty much a male-dominated sort of environment, at home and at work. It was Don Draper, it was Mad Men, and all things in that regards. And even here in the UK, the UK has voted to leave the European Union for Brexit. And a lot of people were like, we didn't need the EU before, we don't need the EU now. Let's go back to kind of the pre-1970s time. And again, it was predominantly more male dominated. So even though we all three of us on this call are talking about, or on this podcast rather, I think it's a call, but gosh knows, things are changing all the time. Um, that the going forward is indeed about collaborative. It is indeed less kind of gender disbalance, more gender parity, more collaborative working, and the change is going in the right direction. I still see a lot of society pulling to go backwards, the way things were going before. And I'd love to just get your take on the big society moves as a final question.
So I love that. I mean, I think in some point in my book, I referred to Happy Days, right? That was that
Yes,
era, right? Where,
Yeah.
the
Leave It
Fonz.
to Beaver, right? I mean, Leave It to Beaver was there and life was wonderful and your mom wore pearls and vacuumed in high heels, right? Um, Personally, I don't want to go back there, but you also have to look at what do people want? Why do they want to go back there? They want to go back there because it's safe. They want to go back there because everybody knew their role.
Mm-hmm.
Because the roles were clearly defined, and if you stepped outside of them, you would be squelched, right? They want to go back there because it felt good. But the time we're in now is not that time. At that time, we were isolated nations.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did not depend on what China did or what Japan did or what other countries did. We are now so integrated that when we have a flu, it's a pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
right? We managed to spread that baby all over the world. So you can't go back. The world is interconnected. So
I like the expression, you can't unbake the cake.
The only way forward is to figure out how to be interconnected better.
Mm.
And then we can learn, and we're back to now we can learn more from each other. Now we can maybe not repeat some of the same mistakes that some countries have made, maybe other countries haven't. So I want that feeling too, right? But I recognize we can never, we can't go back there. Even if we said we're going to close the borders and we're going to go hide, we're in an interconnected world. What we do changes what happens in the UK. What China does changes what happens in Iran, right? Things are interconnected and it's very complicated and we need to learn to deal with it.
Mm.
And we need to look at it from a broad-based perspective of what's good for everybody. When you look at global warming, we all want to point our fingers and say, it's somebody else who's the bad guy. But you know what? We only got one planet.
Mm-hmm.
And we're, and there isn't a lifeline coming from another universe that's gonna, suck the ozone and make our world all better. We're the only ones who can do it.